I'm a longtime iPhone user, and the last time I was intrigued enough to personally buy a Samsung device was the S7 Edge. But when the S10 devices were announced, like many of you, I couldn't resist. Now, we obviously have a tech channel here on YouTube, so we were gonna pick one up anyways, but I wanted to give this beautiful device a chance to win over a permanent spot in my pocket. It's been a month now, and I'll be honest, yes, I did switch back to the iPhone XS Max. I'll let you know why soon, but first let me tell you everything I love about the S10 Plus and the things that really annoyed me. Let me start out with the best thing that no one is talking about, the LTE speeds. I don't know if it's just my network, my city, or what, but wow, what a difference. I tested it around town, and the S10 Plus routinely gets twice the LTE speed than my XS Max and at least 1 extra bar of reception in tough areas. This isn't just in benchmarks, but I noticed it every day. Everything loads faster, buffering is minimized, and I can reliably stream 1440p video where my iPhone would hang up with 1080p. If you're an iPhone user struggling with reception, this alone may be a reason to switch. The S10 Plus is an amazing device and a big step ahead of the Pixel 3, OnePlus 6T, and other Androids. Comparing the hardware with iPhone flagships, it's definitely the more impressive device. Samsung has made some great strides over the S9 and Note 9. I didn't think they could make the display any better, but they did. Battery life was good, now it's better. They didn't have a notch before, and we still don't. The cutout is much less intrusive, even the pill-shaped one with the S10 Plus. When you put this thing up to the iPhone, it looks like the future, and it puts the Pixel 3 to shame. I do wish that it didn't have the depth sensor and retain the S10's and S10e's circular cutout, but that's a minor complaint. On the back, we now have 3 cameras, and I love that we have a wide-angle lens. The quality isn't as good as the main shooter, but the perspective it provides is very unique. The distortion is surprisingly minimal due to software correction, and for most people, even those who have actual cameras, this will be wider than other lenses that they own. I own 7 cameras and dozens of lenses, but I use my phone more often for photos because it's always there, so the camera quality really matters to me. This means that I always try to own the best smartphone camera available, and through the years, that's been the iPhone. Switching to the Samsung, I wasn't giving up quality like I was in the past. In our own blind comparison, the S10 Plus beat out the iPhone overall, and watching Zone of Tech's excellent comparison, I chose the iPhone as my preference, but the S10 Plus was very close. There were 3 things that bugged me though. First, panoramas are now shot using the wide-angle lens. This gives you a different perspective, but can really mess up your images. Second, for portraits, you now have to use the standard lens instead of the telephoto. Now this is great to show more of your scene and helps in low light, but Samsung is the king of giving us options. Why not let us choose which lens is better for a particular situation, both for portraits and panoramas? The third is the shutter lag. Apple was able to fix this since its A12 processor with their Smart HDR is constantly taking a bunch of images, which does introduce some more noise, but you never miss a shot. The S10 Plus at times can have close to a second of delay, so I did miss some shots of my kids that I wouldn't have with the iPhone. As far as video and mic quality, they have also made some great strides, but from my pro videography perspective, the overall quality is still behind Apple. This is the microphone quality from the Galaxy S10 Plus. This is the microphone quality of the iPhone XS Max. Stabilization is great, and the super smooth video is really cool, but it's limited to 1080p. Almost no reviewers actually went into the HDR10 Plus recording feature, and that's because it's not really usable for most if you want to actually edit and upload your videos. It's mostly only good if you want to watch the videos on the phone itself. One video feature I missed is 24 frames per second recording on the iPhone, which helps in low light and is great if you want to match with other camera footage. Speakers have always been the weak point for Samsung, but not anymore. The S10 Plus doesn't sound as good as the iPhone, and yes, I did enable Dolby Atmos, but it's close and much louder. Honestly, I would choose the S10 speakers any day since the extra volume comes in really handy when listening to a podcast or video that's too quiet. Speaking of watching videos, oh man, the experience is fantastic. Not only is the HDR both brighter and more contrasty, but the high-res display with the ability to stream 1440p instead of 1080 really makes the image pop. Not only that, but the small cutout is way less noticeable, and since it's offset, I can flip the phone so it's at the bottom right next to my palm, and I notice it even less. That better video viewing experience also drains more of the battery, but since the S10 Plus has a larger battery, I still get about 30 minutes to an hour more screen on time than the iPhone. Now, let's touch on the ultrasonic fingerprint reader. The tech is super cool and we couldn't fool it in our fingerprint hacking video. But actually using it was a hit or miss. I tried different pressures, angles, lengths to leave my finger on it, and it just wasn't consistent. I then thought to try to register the same fingerprint again, and it worked much better. The next day, Lou put out a video on this, and I was glad that it wasn't just me. I added a third print and it got even better. It's still not perfect, but better than before. I think Samsung can tweak this over time, and I know the tech will improve in the future, but for now, it's definitely not as easy as Face ID. There's one thing that I don't love about the S10 Plus in actual day-to-day use, and that's the curved edges. Yes, it looks great for product shots and makes the phone slimmer so it's more comfortable to use in the hand, but I would often accidentally change YouTube videos and randomly like Instagram photos. Personally, I prefer the standard flat design of the S10e, and I would take that if they offered it with this larger size. So we talked a lot about hardware, now let's touch on the software. The new One UI is an improvement from the past, but Samsung still has a way to go with speed and reliability compared to OnePlus. I ended up changing my icons on the keyboard when everything from my OnePlus 6T is great out of the box, and that ability to customize everything is the beauty of Android, where iOS is more locked down, but on the other hand, iOS does have a lot fewer app crashes, glitches, and bloatware. Notifications on the S10 were annoying, with games trying to get me to play, apps wanting to be downloaded, and Amazon wanting me to shop. All of this can be customized and fixed, but with the iPhone, you don't have to. Now on the plus side, I'm always surprised by the extra features I notice in apps that I use most often. I love Facebook's Messenger little pop-up overlay and YouTube's picture-in-picture mode. So with all of the great hardware features and improvements of the S10 over the iPhone, why did I end up switching back? It's basically the whole Apple ecosystem holding me in. If it wasn't, I would switch, but I love my Apple Watch and also having continuity with my Macs. I use AirDrop almost daily, and Force Touch really speeds things up for me. Along with that, I didn't realize how much losing iMessage would actually affect me. Apple is great at making their products work seamlessly, which is nice, but it also sucks because it locks you in. If I didn't need macOS every day for work, and I didn't own and love the Apple Watch, I would have not switched back to the iPhone. The S10 Plus is in my opinion the best phone on the market. It's not perfect, but it's the closest thing you can get to it. If you're an iPhone user that's not too locked in and thinking of switching, do it. And if you're using Android already and want to upgrade, it's a no-brainer. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this one, including our Galaxy S10e review, click that little circle above to subscribe and check out our other S10 videos, including these ones. This has been Max with Max Tech, and I'll see you in the next video.